what's it like to play a guitar that's only half of a guitar, half of a Fender guitar, half of a Jaguar? Who knows? And we might not find out because I forgot to send the stream key to the right email address to have Oliver on the show. So right now it's me and my amazing co-host, who is
John Mulholland, Space Wolf. Good to be here.
Hello, team. I hope everyone's okay. Hope we got lots of people in the chat, which I might actually get up today. Oh, 9 comments already. Is that because we're late? Everyone being
yes, of course. Everybody's like, calling it early. Internet issues for Joe.
Classmate, I tell you what, it's good to be on a podcast where I've got both headphones on this time. It was awkward last time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forgot who it was. I was showing a clip of it too, and they said, why is it got one headphone on and one off? I was like, he had surgery. It would have been really painful to put the other one on.
Yeah, mate, it was awkward. Right, how do I make this bigger? No, don't want to do that. Have I just removed everyone from the chat or not? Oh, shit.
Well, I think I still see the chat coming up.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, cool. Well, I think I've destroyed the screen. Oh, we're back.
He's found it.
I tell you what, mate, it's not a proper pedal dive podcast if I don't get some sort of technical issue. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean it wouldn't be home without it. And, I mean, to think this is our pretty much 1 year show, 24 shows. You know, at an average of every other week. That's.
I think we missed 2 maybe. One when I was moving in.
Well,
house.
I think we still did something. It was just not at the same time. We just haven't been consistent every other Monday, but we still managed to squeeze something in somewhere.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is. I mean, yeah, it's been great.
I love it. I tell you what, it's probably one of the best things we've done starting this, because it's just like getting together with your mates to talk about gear once a week, innit?
Oh yeah,
or once every other week.
It gives me something to keep the gears turning, and like every time we get off of one of these, my productivity goes up, even if it's just for a few hours.
Yeah, me too, mate. I mean, I find it hard enough to sleep as it is.
Yeah, I know.
So who have we got in the chat? We've got Craze Fandango, Dave Barry, John Pardo, Daniel Mincher, Patrick Allen. It's all the same faces. Get in. And they haven't left with my technical issues. What can I say? So, because Oliver may not make it onto the show, I really wanted to ask about this damn Jaguar. Do you know how hard it was to find half a bit? What's going on there? I've seen pictures of it.
He's got multiples, dude. He's got more than one. It's like sometimes he'll play a whole Jaguar too. Yeah,
but I feel like there's a story behind, like he's on tour and it snaps in half or something. Oh, it's like a real clean cut.
Have you ever seen A Place to Bury Strangers play?
No, mate. No. They weren't even on my radar before this.
Oh wow, yeah. They're considered to be the loudest band in New York City by a lot of people, and he goes full out, and like it's a totally like Jekyll and Hyde personality. Oliver on stage is totally different than Oliver in conversation, because I met him a long time ago. I think just back when they were touring around and doing the DIY, like dropping off pedals in places. I remember seeing some of the first Death by Audio pedals and thinking of how cool and DIY it was. And they're one of the like inspirations for doing the kind of things, I think a lot of people got into, like being, just curious as to how stuff worked. And he had a lot of failures and went through a lot of like burnt up components, like a lot of people do, until he got something that worked. And
it's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask about the new album, because the new album that they released has a circuit board for the album cover that you can actually build a working synthesizer circuit on.
Really? Well, it comes with the record.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna buy that.
I know.
I need to buy that.
If there's any still left. I mean, they released it. They released it a while back, not too long ago, but still, I mean, there's probably just a limited number. There's probably a limited number.
Nah, man.
We'll see. He might find one, stuck somewhere in the warehouse. I've got some circuit boards from the Vo 96 that were, leftovers that, didn't quite make it to completion. I think for whatever reason or another, there was something wrong on the circuit board, so there were no goes.
Yeah, always the way. Save a few. So, Craze Fandango has just come up and said, yes, we need more clones and tube screamers. And I think that's in relation to James Cuff. Hello, James, who's on my last live stream, saying it might be quiet here because JHS and Keeley, two of my favorite builders, are online discussing the new Keeley clone. Fantastic. Not only does JHS need to up his prices to save the little guys like us, he's now seeing me off by taking me podcast time. Josh, if you ever watch this, which I'm sure you won't, fuck you. I'm joking.
I think he had been doing like some Monday live streams, and then he was hit or miss, and he may be trying to get back on a schedule because I remember like the JHS short circuit series was airing at the same time we were, so or like an hour early or something.
It's frustrating because I like watching it as well, but I saved them till late at night, and then when I'm building, I just put them on.
Yeah,
it's a busy day in it because you got that pedal show first, which obviously I tune in for while I'm doing the dishes. Funnily enough, well, actually, no, that pedal show's a bit later, isn't it? It's Dan's other live stream that I do during the dishes.
Okay,
yeah, mad. So what else have we got? Dave Barry says, seen a few demos pop up today. Germanium transistors used as clipping. Yeah, exactly, mate. You can
cool.
So you can use MOSFETs for clipping as well. That's most common, isn't it?
Well, I've used JFETs as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
clipping. They have a really unique sound.
You'll notice that. Well, maybe you won't notice, but if you've got a DCA 55, like you should have, if you ever build pedals, but if you've got one of them and you find a failed germanium transistor, it'll say short between two legs, and it'll give you the legs, and then it'll also say diode network. So it's basically tie two legs together, it becomes a diode. I've got some military boards over in the back there that I've got NKT transistors on. That three of the transistors on the board are wired up as diodes, so it's just like the legs wrapped together.
Yeah, and then I've found things in cans that I thought were transistors, and then when I tested them and looked up the numbers, they're actually diode arrays. They just have three legs.
There's ones on eBay now that are like, I want to say they're about £8 each, and the NKT something A, like 90As or something, and they're actually diodes. Yeah. If anyone's interested, send me a message, and I'm watching them, so I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I've seen them like with diodes in series and diodes in parallel. It's almost like you can find one you can set up a clipping network with just by popping it in place. It's already got like a diode array. Yeah.
I'll check this out. So Mike says the Zen Drive uses the two N7000s as diodes. Exactly. And that's what we discussed with Simon on our little episode, because he's a legend. He put it in well more elegant words. And Joel Duffield says, hello, enjoy your videos. Thanks very much, mate. We go live every other week doing a Pedal Dive podcast. Absolutely love it. Get in. So what you been up to, John, anyway?
Oh, well, I've been working on guitars, scratching my head about a few things, trying to figure out like what moves to make and just, where to go next with what I've been working on, and like how to get some things happening. I'm in a holding pattern, just waiting for the house to sell.
Oh, mate, I feel for you there.
Yeah, that was like have it get yanked twice. That's just one of those things. It's like, man, really? And especially a week before.
Yeah, I feel like you should have better laws than that. I mean, we have a really weird law.
We do.
Like
we do. It's just it requires me taking it, to court, and we're trying to avoid doing that. It's just one of those things where don't really want to say much about it, just in case. I have no idea where everything is with the lawyers talking to each other. So,
I get you, mate. It's horrific. So we're the same here. We have like the same. Well, in fact, in the UK, people can like accept a bid and then turn it down and accept a different bid. Whereas in Scotland, if you accept the bid, you are like bound by law. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's that's the way.
Technically still the UK.
That's the way this is. It's past due diligence, and they're bound by law to purchase the property. I mean, we can sue them for the whole amount, but and they have to.
That as well.
Well, the thing is, because it's such a blatant breach of contract, they have to pay for the attorneys too, our attorneys and theirs.
If you win,
yeah,
it's always
that's
a risk.
The thing. It's always one of those. So,
oh man. Well, let me tell you, things have been mental here. So do you know what? This is one of my pet hates, and it's going to sound so hypocritical now. Like YouTubers moan and say, "Oh, I'm so busy. I've got to make a video. I feel like I'm behind." All this bullshit, and I'm like, mate, you're living the dream. You're making videos about what you love. Shut up and stop complaining. Same as pedal builders, where you get some pedal builders are like, "Oh my god, I've been building all pedals all day today, all day yes, all of this jazz." Whereas I go to work every day and then build pedals in my own time because I love it. But I've got on the YouTube hamster wheel, and normally I'm a couple of videos ahead, but now I'm like, release a video and then I'm editing the next video as I'm releasing it. I'm like right on the cusp of not being up there, and I think
it doesn't take much of a setback to get you behind either. I mean, you had like a few things that you just had no other choice but to deal with, and so
yeah. Well, my wife's been sick, and I had that up and stuff, and it knocked me a little bit. It only took a couple of days. It's so weird.
It doesn't take much. Yeah. It's like
it's mad. But today I was duty at the weekend, so I got a day off today. Get in. Look at that. I'll duty building pedals in work and then come home and get an extra day off. Brilliant. But I got quite a bit done today. So we should have a Brian May Range Master video coming out soon, which will be interesting. I bought some Red Special knobs as well from Brian himself, or from his company anyway.
Oh, cool.
The Brian May amp video, oh my god, that people like that amp. It's mad.
That was funny when you went to turn it on and got nothing in the clip that I saw. That was class.
Yeah, I didn't know how to film that bit because I was like, how do you film it? I'm new to the whole video editing and shooting thing. I'm kind of like feeling it out. So but yeah, I've got another good one coming up. So I'm building. Remember I said I'm doing a Telecaster?
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
So I went for the transition logo. But I was doing a body today, a bit of spray painting, and I've bought these these things from Monty's Guitars. I don't know if anyone uses them, like neck bolts, but they go into these threaded inserts. Yeah.
There's quite a few like high-end manufacturers that use those on all their necks.
Mate, great idea. However, because I'm such a dickhead, right? This is what I did. I sanded the body down, getting it ready, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm going to paint it. Maybe I'll fit them ferrules now before I start, messing with the paint." Went into autopilot and drilled the back of the body to fit these bits in.
Oh no!
Oh no! On camera as well while I was doing a video.
Oh, that's great. Now you're going to
make a great video.
Now you're going to have your like fix my mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Arc that you can go on.
I think I realized I was doing it as I was screwing them in, like the actual inserts in.
They were going all the way through.
Said, "Oh shit!" I was like, "No, what have I done?" It's a proper nice body as well. It's like 40-year-old pine.
Oh wow!
It's been cured in a I think it was cut down in 1986, and I was born in '85. So
I've got some blanks like that.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, I've got one. It's going to be the back for a thin line here.
Oh yeah,
it's book matched mahogany.
That's nice, mate.
And then for the
what
top,
type of mahogany is it?
I think this is African mahogany. I don't think this was Honduran.
So I've noticed the African mahogany is lighter.
It is, yeah. It's lighter in color too in a lot of cases, and it's got a more silk pattern. But then I'm thinking
it's a slippery slope in it wood.
Doing something like spalted maple top for it, maybe. Or I've got other like really fancy figured materials. This will never go into a guitar. This is something that I'm gonna just turn into a wall hanging.
Oh mate, that's nice.
Yeah,
I'd make that my top if it was me.
Well, the thing is, like, you'd have to go in and like you start, messing with the design, because when you look at it, I don't know how well it translates on camera, but
it looks nice, mate. All right, so we got.
It looks like an alien that's curled up, basically.
Mate, so wait there, what guitar are you building? I'm talking about front and backs, but what shape you going for? Or the
mahogany one that the back I've already got made for is for a Telecaster thin line. Gonna have a solid beam running down. I'm thinking the beam I'm gonna make out of either like red spruce. I've got a chunk of red spruce that would be really good acoustically, and then for the top, probably a maple of some sort.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be sweet.
But I've got all these book match panels, and so it's which one. I've got Bird's Eye, I've got Flame, I've got Blister, I've got Spalted, I've got all sorts of crap.
It's so easy.
I've got
so
less
easy
than
to
I
go
had
down that little
before.
thing.
Yeah. A lot of it disappeared in a theft. Like I had probably 60 bodies that ended up, being absconded with. All said and done. Yeah.
So bad.
I know.
So James Cuff says, John, are you more guitars than pedals in terms of your expertise?
Oh, I'd say definitely. I mean, I've been a luthier for over 30 years. Like pedals, I got into it as, aside from my experience, being around electronics my whole life and just being fascinated by them, and then figuring out, hey, I could make some sounds in these boxes that maybe nobody else has, and experiment with it. And just, I experiment with all kinds of different art forms, and I circuit bend, do graphic arts, martial arts, mental gymnastics every now and then.
So I had this weird question when I went to the gig rig. Lizzie, who does like their live show, like the girl behind the camera, said to me, "Are you an artistic person? Are you quite artistic?" And I was like, "No, not at all," because I would consider you to be an artistic type of person. Like you've just said, martial arts, and even to the point of like the pedals that you make. Like you'll find a random object and make that into a pedal. It's like really artistic. Whereas for me, I
think I'm autistic more than I am artistic half the time. It's like I think I'm the definition of inspiration. Inspiration struck and knocking me senseless. In some cases, it's like, what in the hell am I doing this for again? It's like, oh, because I had this idea that, what if I did that? All right, let's find out. So,
love it.
Can't help it.
Let's see. Who else have we got in? Craze Fandango says, any chance of getting Andy from Funny Little Boxes in the future? I would absolutely
we should reach out. That'd be great. Yeah,
definitely. In fact, as soon as we get off the stream, John, please remind me, because we all know that I'm going to forget.
Yeah, I think our next one's scheduled for June 30th.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I was gonna see what you wanted to do for that. So
mate,
we got a few different options. I think I've gotten our friend Dave interested in doing an episode if we can put up, like one of those animated avatars so that it moves with him. I think that would be funny as all get out. Like we could figure out something that would fit his personality. We'd have an AI Dave. I mean, it's just a filter you put on.
Capabilities.
No, it's just a filter you put on. Yeah. I mean, you've seen have you seen where these people have been live streaming and people have been able to like put things on them, where this one guy was doing some rant and people kept like putting like weird, hats on him and mustaches and stuff, and kept, making his eyes look like they were glowing and like on fire. So
we'll definitely do something like that.
We just have to figure out like how to do it and apply it to the live, because I've seen people that do live streams where they're like basically a computer avatar of an anime character during the live stream, and it responds to all their movements on camera. And I mean, the stuff that we've got to play with now is just mind bending, dude. It's like we've just barely even scratched the surface of what we got available at our fingertips any given time we use it. It's just unreal.
It's all blowing up, isn't it? Let's face it. I mean, I use AI for basically everything these days. We've got quite a few in the chat to get through. Sonar Poop says, he had one that he built with, I'm guessing this is a range master, with a 6NF tropical fish cap that he thought would have been good for Brian May kind of thing, but it drifted up to 8, and he ended up finding a 5NF polystyrene. Polystyrene are quite good for audio, to be fair. And
yeah, they are.
I don't want to spoil the episode because I make a feature out of like trying different capacitors so you can hear how it sounds. But I was going for, you know, when you hear Brian May and the notes kind of make a vowel sound, like it's almost like there's a cockwatt on. I was going for that sound.
Oh yeah.
5NF is not too far from what I chose. So spoiler alert there. But there's more involved. I actually showed to put the transformer in there as well. If anyone's interested in that. That's not going to be out on Tuesday. It'll be the following Tuesday, because on Tuesday I'm doing a Randy California Jordan Boston Fuzz. Mental.
Awesome.
So Dave Barry says glue and dowels, glue dowels in and then re-drill. As for my telly, yeah, possibly. What I actually did was nothing, paint it and cover it with the neck plate. So lazy. But yeah, and it's all on camera, so you can laugh at me at a later date.
You could just put like a brass bushing in there and say you meant to do it.
Yeah, no one's going to see it. All I'm saying, in my heart, I'm saying to myself, you want to like Guitar Joe, you've just made it lighter.
Who knows, man? Maybe if you put the bushings in there, like, you know, you'll get some extra sustain, and then we can like sell it to Stu Mac.
We can, yeah.
You can sell it as snake oil to all the masses. We'll get a big spread in Vintage Guitar magazine, and George Gruen on board, and we're millionaires, buddy.
Well, I'm basically ripping off Red. I'm all the choices I'm making are basically Dan's guitar, like titanium saddles and all of that. But I'm such a hypocrite that I never chose the same decal as him, because he has a spaghetti logo on his. But to be honest, mate, I've just got a thing for the transition logo. There's something about it that I love.
Yeah, the little variations.
Yeah, like it really pops.
I had a collection of like originals from the Fender factory. I think they may have survived. I'll have to look and see. I might have found those in an envelope, but I had some like
let me show you,
like some 1960s decals that somehow or another like made it out. Yeah,
that's an original Fender 1960s transition logo that cost me $150.
I've got a whole bunch of those for
Get them on eBay, mate.
Yeah,
that's a strat.
Well, I mean, you know, they're worth more than that in my restoration work or my
fair
builds. Like there's, you know, people that I've built guitars for that want an exact replica of a certain year, and they're willing to pay the extra for the decal if I had it.
Well, that's why I paid $150 for this, because my plan was to cut out the Fender and just have no Telecaster logo. But then I found a replica. So with this, you can see that the gold is actually aged. So it's like dark looking because it's old. It's from the 60s, whereas my one's bright and gold. Yeah. And that's because this is like a replica, but like the fender on it is still raised. It's still, the water slide decal still had like PTFE glue on the back. Really weird. I've never seen that before, which is probably what makes them go yellow, I'm guessing. The background yellow.
Well, I mean,
it's an exact.
Remember, like the original water slides, they were screen printed. Like it's a screen printing ink that they were directly screen printed to the backing paper, and then allowed to dry. So
I've even gone one step further, which I'm sure the internet's going to hate me for, but fuck it, they hate me anyway. And I never clear lacquered over the top because there's loads of necks for sale online, and all of the transition logos, or a lot of the transition logos, you can see the gold's like rubbed off, and I'm guessing that's because they didn't clear coat over some of them.
Some of them they were. I mean, there's so many people that have deep dived into the variations and like what all the different people that worked on which guitar based off of their initials. Like you get some people that like look for certain pickup winders, like if this lady wound the pickups because her initials were on the back of the pickups, those are the ones from that year that you're going to pay a premium for. So it gets it gets mental. It really does, over something that was built in the on the scale of millions.
Oh, we've got the the chats are coming flying in today. So Dan Mincher, I'll be seeing you at Brighton. I can't wait, mate. He says, what we're all interested in is what type of fuzz I'm buying or trying at the Brighton show. Well, I've got you here, mate. So these are going to be my highlights of the show. We've got the Abbey Road fuzz with the classic Abbey Road in there. And just to show that it's looking the part, I've got a real thing for that Abbey Road badge, or the new Vox bender. So the Vox tone bender pedals I did. I got and with the old muff knobs, and these have actually got an NKT transistor in there. Some of them have got 2 NKT transistors in there, but I got a lot of time for that. And they're both take a power supply, regular 9-volt, and all that jazz. Speaking of fuzz, because I know you're all interested, check this out, John. You haven't seen these yet. On my last live stream, look at this. It's one of the first pedals I ever built. And the circuits in the dome. This is an emergency light off a warship.
That's great.
Dan should all recognize this.
I almost grabbed the enclosure that I'm trying to get the internals out of. They gooped it so tight because it's an aircraft transponder. It's like from a private passenger aircraft, like a little Cessna airplane, and they have to be replaced every now and then, after their serviceability. And this one's from the 80s. It's in this big bright orange, like industrial metal container.
Oh man, I love it.
And I got, when I got into it, then there's a big, metal plate, and there's goop all around the edges. And I've been trying to get the goop off so that I can get, to the internals and see what else is in there, what the circuit is, because there might be some pretty cool components. I might be able to build a pedal out of what's in what I'm going to use as the enclosure.
Can you imagine how good that would be, a pedal built out of the stuff that's in there?
I know. I mean, I do that kind of stuff all the time. So like this is a car charger that, it exploded in the car. You can see the tip is missing. The tip is still in the receptacle in the Honda. We found this thing sitting in the cup holder, and I thought, what's going on? And then when I picked it up, it just like fell apart. And I was like, why did that happen? Like, who broke into the car and destroyed the cell phone charger and then left? And so when I got into it, it's got a couple of interesting looking transistors, a lot of diodes, and some pretty cool electrolytics, and not much else on the bottom. But I could probably do a fuzz out of it of some sort.
Yeah, mate, you'd definitely be able to do a fuzz out of that.
There's an
Stack
LED.
all them diodes together.
Yeah.
So Craze
just won't
Fandango
fit back in
says,
this enclosure.
Craze Fandango says foot switch placement approved. He's always taking a piss out of me for putting my foot switches in the center. Something like that anyway. But I actually, subconsciously, a lot of my pedals have got the foot switches in the middle now. It's like, I don't even think about it when I'm drilling. I just do whatever I feel. But I feel like he's got under my skin. I need to start putting them to the side again. John Pardo says he's got one of the battery-powered Vox tone benders that I did, the Vox benders. Cheers, John. I think you might have been the first person in there when they went live, actually, to be fair. And Craze Fandango says he's got an Abbey Road fuzz, a Range Master, and a Zen Drive flexing there. Yeah, mate, I'm telling you, the Brighton Guitar Show is killing me. So about a week ago, my father-in-law, Glyn, said to me, don't do what you normally do and have no pedals until a week before. And I was like, I've got loads. And he said, have you really? Because your website's empty. So then when I went on our website, it was like, shit, I've got no pedals to sell. So I've been working hard trying to build them.
And I've been keeping up with sales. You're like, thinking they're all still out there.
Yeah. Well, I've stopped listing pedals now. The only ones I will list is like the ones for the video. So the Boss Tone pedal this week and the Range Master the week after, just because they go live with the video. But for everything else, like I'm going to build 3 more of them boogie pedals in a smaller enclosure. So many people comment. I got so much hate and so much love in the same video. It's mad. Loads of people saying it sounds like crap. It sounds like a fuzz. And loads of people saying it's amazing. So I'm guessing lots of people are like me and don't understand it because I don't understand it. And then other people like love that heavy whatever. It's not really my sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on what people's tastes are, and
yeah,
you know, what their palette range is as far as the music they make or what they're into.
Yeah, I just can't.
I mean, I make things that, you know, I know only a handful of people would even begin to appreciate what it is and why it goes to those places that it does. Like other people are like, I don't want my signal to sound like that. It's like
what have you done?
Yeah, where's the note?
I plugged that boogie thing in, and after like playing it for 3 seconds, I was like, I understand why people have like the limiters now. What are they called? Do you know what I mean? What are they called? The noise gate.
Noise gates, yeah.
Because it's just ridiculous every time you move. The string squeaks or something. It's impossible.
Yeah, but, like something that's got that much sensitivity, like that's the price you got to pay. Like it's going to pick up everything. There's some of the pedal designs I've worked on where, you know, it makes you an honest player. You can't get away with some of the same stuff that you normally get away with. It's like, oh, I'm sloppy. Like, you know, it sounded great whenever I had the fuzz cranked up, but now this pedal's making every single mistake amplified. Yeah, it's like, oh
man. the train wreck amps like that, it's just impossible to play. In fact, I'll be giving it to Joe from the Guitar Nerds podcast at Brighton.
Oh, cool.
So it's going soon. Do you know what? While we've just been talking, then I've been sat there looking at this decal, like, what am I going to do with it? I was thinking about selling it or whatever. And I've just thought, why don't I do a Rory Gallagher Rangemaster pedal and put that on it? I could paint it like a burst, like his Strat, and age it all off. And
got a burst enclosure, powder coat.
Oh yeah, love it.
It's kind of it's hard to see because it's not polished up right now. I've been leveling it, but it's a candy apple red burst. I burst the sides, then burst the top too. But I want to get a nice smooth surface on it so that you can see like all the transition. That was really hard to do in powder coat. I'm never going to do that again. So whoever ends up getting that enclosure, it's a 1 of 1.
I can't do the powder coat thing. It's too difficult. Too much fiddling.
And that took using like a liquid powder coat medium where I could mix the powder coat in and then spray it. So I basically had a hopper spray gun that you could spray like something that was thick out of. So I was able to aerosolize it. But man, was it touch and go. Like trying to do that with just high static attraction, like most powder coat, you know, where you electrify it and hit it with the gun. And it sprays a powder, which is nasty as all get out. You talk about inhaling microplastics. My powder coating days are over as far as DIY.
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
It's bad enough that I spray bomb things.
So actually, this is a fun comment. Sonar Poop says he would usually put the foot switches in the middle unless he's doing a tobacco tin. And speaking of tobacco tins, check this out. Oh, I'm going to segue. Cheers for that, mate. We were meant to give this away. It is a Hubcap John tobacco tin fuzz that I built for an episode on the old YouTubes. I'm going to be giving this away today. Me and John would like to offer it to anyone who sends me a video now on Instagram, private message or DM me, whatever, a video telling me why you deserve to have it. And me and John will choose the best one. So either the funniest or the best one.
I think I have an idea who's like already scrambling to their phone because I just saw some comments pop up. So we'll see. Well, we'll see who your first message is from. Yeah, who your first message is from. That'll be great.
It's going to be class, mate. I'll play it on my phone. Get in the old Hello Sailor Effects phone case. I'll play it on my phone, and we'll decide who wins. And we'll probably do that on the 1 hour mark. So you've got 25 minutes. And this is it. And just in case you want to see inside it, there we go. John kindly give me this or give me the kit to make, and I kind of messed it up and did my own thing with it, which is usually the way for me.
I was going to say that's why it's DIY. Do it your way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, So we got a few comments about it. That's great. I think I missed some other comments. James Cuff, hello mate. I was calling him James Coof the other day. He was like, no, like your shirt sleeve. Brilliant. Do you have a goal for how many pedals you build a month? For me, mate, I don't. It's definitely going to be at least 4 because I do a YouTube episode once a week, which means that, you know, every week I at least build 1 pedal. But I try and build as many as I can, and I literally never sleep. So I'm still
I can attest to that. Yeah. Many times where I'm like, Joe's awake. What? It's like 4 a.m. over there. He hasn't been to sleep yet.
Yeah, I have a full-time job. I'm still in the Navy, chief engineer for the time being. Although I'm a landlubber now, I don't go to sea. And then I've got a 6-year-old daughter who's like a handful. Let me tell you, whoever says the girls are easier than boys, they're lying. Let me tell you that.
They haven't met some of the girls that I grew up with. I'll tell you that.
Mate, she's a handful, and she's got me wrapped around her little finger. So when she goes to bed and my wife Haley goes to bed, that's when I start building. So I don't know. I try and bang out at least 10, minimum 4, maximum. I mean, I was duty the other day. So on Saturday, I did a 24-hour duty, and I built 8.5 pedals. So there you go. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm poised to where I'll be happy if I can get all the pedals that I started in the last few months completed. It might end up where I'll have like 10 or 15 pedals done all at once, and then. But it's been one of those things where I've just gotten sidetracked with so many other developments, and the stuff that I was gearing up to do has been put off. So to be able to do it at the production level I want to do it at, I want to have things in place and not make a false start of it if I can help it.
Yeah, exactly.
And right now I'm just building and playing with circuits and having a good time, and putting out a pedal here, a pedal there, throwing one in a store, letting my nephew play with them and seeing what kind of reactions I get.
Did he give you that other pedal back yet?
Which one? The green one?
The one that you gave him that was a prototype, yeah.
Yeah, he gave me that one back. I'm not letting that one back out. If he wants that one, then he's going to have to build one. We'll have to teach him how to solder.
Well, speaking of which, we're still planning to do them kits, aren't we? And do like a live build. So
yeah, that's something that we should probably talk about too. Like, what do we want to figure out?
Let's put the kits out. Maybe I'll put the kits out in time for Brighton, the first lot.
Okay.
See, part of me thinks we should build a range master, but that's a difficult build if you're not used to soldering.
You're not used to it. And then the same thing with like fuzz faces.
Yeah. I mean, a silicon fuzz face, I should say, wouldn't be that bad.
Didn't we say something about like maybe like an Electra type circuit with the switchable transistors, something that would be like a good entry level, and then so maybe some IC stuff too. Like we talked about an IC kit with Simon, like based off of that project that he did.
Definitely. Well, that's definitely maybe the first one. I'll put together something like 10 electric kits with switchable transistors, switchable diodes, and then people can supply their own enclosure, and I'll supply everything else. And we can have 10 kits, but 3 of them will be a little bit more, but you get to come on a show and build them live with us. I think that might. What do you think about that?
Sounds like a plan.
3 is 3 going to be too many on the screen?
I don't think so. We've had 5 people on screen before.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, yeah. Because I think when we did we had Simon, we had
because Justin was on as well, wasn't he?
Justin, and
we have 5 of us.
Alex.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember who the other person was we had on. It was Alex from.
That was our last giveaway, if I remember rightly.
I think so, yeah, because we judged the videos, and that was when Dave won.
Yeah, and it took me forever to get it to Ireland. Oh my God. It took my wife flying to Ireland and posting it. It's mad. It's basically closer than Liverpool to us, but I couldn't get a post there. So
well, it's like if somebody mails me something from across the street, it has to go 3 hours away. to a processing center and then come back. You know, they could walk across the street and hand it to me faster than they could mail it.
That's mad. Oh, speaking of that giveaway that we're doing today, hello, John. How's it going, mate? You all right? So Hubcap John is actually on. So if anyone has any questions about that fuzz pedal that we're giving away today, there's the man who put the kit together and did the design. His design on that kit is fantastic. Like the layout is really good. Highly recommend it to anyone. So I think I'll have the 10 kits available on my website by the time that I get to Brighton, and I'll have the kits with me if anyone wants to buy them in person. There you go. And then maybe next time it can be you put the kits together, and then the time after we'll have Simon do it, and you know, go in like at a one each. Are we going to do this like out of sync? So it's like not a pedal dive episode per se every other week. We sneak it in, maybe a Monday in between.
Yeah, that might be something. That way, you know, it's kind of its own thing.
Yeah,
like a build along.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got the camera set up now that I can do 2 cameras, so I can have one on the work and one on me. We can just talk through it and stuff. Be interesting stuff. I think I've got transistors in mind to use as well. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking I might go a regular silicon, something like a BC183, and then a Darlington transistor. So like I don't know, MPSA 13 or something. You know, so
that'd be interesting. Yeah,
we're staying away from germanium because if people don't know how to solder and they overheat it, it doesn't work.
Well, and just you have so much inconsistency from part to part, and it's one of those things for like your first time building a kit, or you know, or building that specific circuit, like trying to figure out how to make germanium apply might not be the best thing.
And I
germanium diodes are a different story for clipping. Like,
oh yeah, germanium diodes, yeah, definitely. And I could probably do that. In fact, I've got a box of really old diodes that I recovered from some old tag board that I bought. It was like 100 pieces of tag board that come with like 8 diodes on each or whatever.
I've got a bunch of stuff like that too. Yeah, where it was like back when they built circuits on these giant pieces of you know, phenolic.
Yeah.
You know, you had a circuit board that was like this with transistors spaced out everywhere and big diode arrays everywhere. It's like, wow, you know, I can see everything on this circuit. It's like,
you go into the SCC, so Ships Control Center on a Type 23 frigate. I open up the control panel and there's all these like power units, melter units and stuff, and like loads of circuitry. It's like massive computers basically that are probably the computing power of less than my watch. You know, it's ridiculous. Oh, yeah. And then there's these massive tag boards with just rows of resistors and crap on them. So old, but it's reliable.
It is, yeah, and extremely easy to maintain. That's the other thing. Like,
yeah,
could you imagine like if you were in a field situation and you were having to deal with SMD components? Like that's
I was just about to say, can you imagine trying to solder and desolder a resistor in the middle of an attack if it was SMD? It's just not happening.
It's just not happening. Yeah,
no, not at all. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, but so the price of the kit, what are we thinking of the price? Because it's going to be tag board, stomp switch, you know, what is it? Toggle switch, two sets of diodes, 2 transistors, other components, and I'm going to use all vintage components as well. So what do people think is a fair value for that sort of a kit? It won't have the enclosure, and that's to allow you to drill a stomp switch off center if you want to.
Well, I've seen a lot of like kits, like some of the ones that have higher end components or like more components in them. Like, you know, without an enclosure, you can get the kit with everything, like, you know, all the goodies, sans enclosure, because I've bought a few because I do my own enclosures anyway. And I was like, I'm not going to build this circuit for a compressor. And it was just a few dollars more than the price of the chip for the circuit. Anyway, I was like, I might as well build, you know, this kit that General Guitar Gadgets has. And I think it was $60 without the enclosure. Yeah. So, I mean,
$60.
And that's $60 seems like a good price point if we can shoot for that. I mean, that'd be for high end.
£100 for the 3 people who go live with us. it'll be £100 for them kits.
Yep.
That seems fair.
£60, £100 seems like a good.
So we got Mr. Budget Pedal Chap on. Hello, Adam. How's it going, mate?
Hey, good to see you.
Love it. And
that would be somebody too that we should like have on the show in a future episode.
Mate, I've been trying to figure out how we can have him on because we normally talk through a circuit, and I know he's built a few pedals, right? But he's just got like a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, we can talk about gear. We can talk about anything.
Well, we're basically doesn't have to, now, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, we've proven that time and time again. We can fill an hour and a half with absolute nothing and have a great time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there you go, Adam. Invitations out there. Please come on a podcast. It would be very interesting to get your take on things. Trying to think of something controversial I could ask you live without you knowing I'm going to do it. Sort of like a BBC Sting moment. Ha, got you. That sort of thing.
Which one would it be on? Channel 1, Channel 4? Which Channel 1 it would be more like a
isn't it like Channel 100 when you get to the porn channels, something like that?
I don't know. I haven't been able to count that high.
I haven't got that many fingers and toes.
I'm a drummer. I don't count past like 5 if I'm lucky.
James Cuff said, is a tag board FR4 like amps? Do they use the same in America? So a tag board is just like, let me show you. So this is the two types of tag board that I would use. Your tag board like that, or a turret board like that. And you can definitely get them in America. And I'm assuming, John, you have sources over there for that.
Yeah. There's sources for that kind of stuff, especially in the amp building parts community. Like there's several suppliers for that kind of stuff where you can get whatever length of tag board you want or turret you want. You can even get the components to make it yourself. Like you can buy the blank pieces and you can do all the spacing any way you want, and any kind of weird junctures put in there you want to do.
I've got some over there, some gold turrets to go on. And I get mine from hificollective.co.uk. They don't sponsor the show, but I do literally mention them every single week. So if anyone wants to buy them, I would suggest going there. But I don't know about America.
I know that some of the places for wholesale, it was CE Distributing, and I think it was Antique Electronic Supply was their retail part.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of that kind of stuff for restoring old radios and old amplifiers. And they even have some really cool like pedal kits.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't they used to sponsor the Truth About Vintage Jams podcast?
I have no clue about that. Mate. Yeah.
What a podcast. So Dan Mincher says, could you not supply the box and get people to drill and paint and design anyway? They're like, no, because the box costs more.
And two, then you're stuck with our choice of enclosure too. Like, there's so many ways to enclose a pedal. Like you'd be limited to our choice of like a standard Hammond box, or if we had something that we found like a whole like bunch of dent and scratch models, it would be, because you'll find that every now and then you'll like find some blowouts like where they're like $5 a box because it had like a manufacturing defect on it or whatever.
Well, you could put it in a radio or something like that,
It just seems like we're putting you in the box, and we like to think outside the box, I guess.
Oh, that's a great way of putting it. I tell you what, listen to this now. AI, if you're listening to this, there's the short
they're always listening. This episode. They're always listening to this.
I use AI to create some shorts, don't I? And that's definitely going to be a short.
That should be a good one, yeah.
We like to think outside the box, and we don't want to put you in a box. Get in. I'm getting that on a t-shirt. That should be the first pedal dive t-shirt.
I've got 1 million of them in notebooks somewhere. I've got a lot of them. Somebody just needs to hire me, and I'll come up with your $1 million ideas for you. My needs are very, very minimal.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Amplified parts from Arnie Slab says amplified parts for the US. Great. And John Pardo also says in the UK you can get them from RS, also Model and Railway.
That's what Antique Electronic Supply became, was Amplified Parts. I knew that they had done a name change. It used to be Antique Electronic Supply, and if you do a search for them, it'll send you to Amplified Parts, because it makes more sense. The vintage radio market and the ham radio market that they were catering to under that moniker was less of their customer base than the DIY electronics people building amps, and so. And they've got a great selection of speakers too. You can get like some really cool speakers from them.
Oh, put you on the spot, John. If you could only choose one speaker, what would your favorite speaker be?
Oh God, man, that's
yeah.
I mean, because the ones that are in my Avatar cabinet currently, I mean, the Eminence Swamp Things.
Eminence.
Yeah.
Nice,
but that's just because they do what I want them to do for the kind of tones I want to create, and that's why I chose them. I went through a lot of different, A/B comparisons, and when I bought these, it was when they were doing their Patriot series.
Nice.
These are the Patriots. I think are their American version, like the Jensen Special Design replica, and I like the sound of that type of big heavy magnet 12-inch speaker.
Nice. I'm going JBL E110 in a bareface cab. 10-inch speaker, even though it's a small 10-inch, it still blows everyone away. Every guitar show I go to, they tell me to turn down. I get some funny looks. Amazing. And Hubcap John says, Hi-Fi Collective are great. Let's see. Hi-Fi Collective are great. And also Banzai is a great parts place in Germany. Right. Germany, if you're buying guitar parts, I've just bought a ton from Crazy Parts. They have this brand called Art of Aging. Fantastic, mate. For like exact plastics and stuff, replicas. And we all know that I'm a bit of a nightmare for wanting things to be the exact thing. Let's see. What have I missed? Dan Mincher says he's got a Swamp Thing in his 73 Bassman. So this Bassman, mate, let me tell you, he used to belong to a friend of mine called Danny, and he's gone on about this guitar for like years. I've known him for years. This guitar, this amp, this Bassman amp. It's a Silverface Bassman. Fantastic, but he's gone on about this amp for years, and now he swapped it with Dan Mincher. So there you go. He wanted me to recap it at one point, and then I bought all the caps, and he was like, "Oh no, I can't afford the money at the minute." And so I ended up like with all these caps to do a cap job. Didn't end up doing it. There you go.
It's interesting. Like, I wonder if Daniel's had the same experience with that speaker as I have. It seems like it moves air to where it physically punches you. Like, it's one of those speakers that I love to play in front of, because whenever I dig into something and I've got it cranked, I can feel the air move. And when a note punches, I get punched. Just like, oh yeah, there's the guitar fight. There's the bass fight.
What? So for the Brian May Rangemaster, which is, I'm pointing at it like it's on the desk in front of me, like you can see.
Because it is.
Yeah. But the Brian May Rangemaster, I normally play through the Showman amp for demos because it's clean. But Rangemaster, no good. So I played through the V40, as you do. And I thought, what's a better amp? So I ended up getting my Filmo sound out, and that's got a 12-inch Weber Alnico speaker in it. And oh my God.
Weber's making nice speakers. I mean, it's one of those things that, if money was no option, I probably would have spent more on something like that. Like, or there were some speakers that I heard that there were boutique speakers that Carlos Santana was using in all of his amps that were hemp cone speakers, and they just had like that really nice deep growl, but also the searing highs in them. And I don't know, it was just one of those things where, like, once I found something that I could afford that I liked, I was just pulled the trigger on it and haven't looked back. So
class. I tell you what, I've just remembered my favorite speaker ever is like a real cheap home brand from a place called Watford Valves here in the UK. Don't know if anyone's ever heard of them. I'm just going to see if I can get it up now. Basically they're the copies of the Celestian Greenback.
Oh yeah.
But the 55 hertz version, and they're really cheap. They're like 80 quid or something like that, if that.
That's something that I've seen. A couple of really good replicas of those.
Yeah,
and
This is, I don't think they do them anymore. Look at that.
Oh man, it might be one of those things where, you know, manufacturing overseas and costs and stuff, like
I think it is.
Yeah.
So the brand is called Harmer, which is basically it's Watford Valves here in the UK. It's their home brand. Look at that.
Okay.
£45 for a speaker.
That's insane.
They're fantastic. So
yeah,
there was a 55
that's for a 12. That's
version.
for a 12.
A 12, mate. Yeah.
Dang, that's what you'd normally pay for like an 8. You'd think.
So that one there was a clone of a G12, and you can get them in light or dark. So, I mean, the 10-inch ones are 75 quid because they're not on sale. But
okay, so it was a special sale.
Yeah, well, all the 12-inch speakers are on sale, so 45. So there's a G12 smooth. So they've just like done some different things to the cones to make them dark, bright, and smooth. But 45 quid, and they are so well built. I had that speaker in a basically it was a Black Star amp, but I was just using the power amp, and I was using the Kingsley Maiden as a preamp. One of the best tones I've ever had. I don't know why I moved away from that. Anyway.
Yeah, speaking of speakers and how they're built, like some of the vintage speakers that I've pulled out of amps are so poorly built. It's like, man, like this thing's barely holding itself together. Like you breathe on it wrong, that cone is gonna like, you know, they were just using whatever they could get away with, you know, material wise to get it out the door, and people are wanting to pay ridiculous amounts of money because it's a vintage speaker. It's like, you know, I can see where the, you know, the magnet and the coil and like that cone, like some of the chemical like adhesives that they use, they just like separate, especially if it's been in like certain environments. And you know,
and there isn't that many people who can fix them left.
Yeah, left. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There were a few out there. There was one guy in Charlotte we were sending all that kind of repair work to, and he was good at reconing as well, like getting, you know, an exact match to the cone, as long as your, you know, coil and everything were still serviceable.
But it's good if you, I mean, I know Dave Barry, he's looking at reconing one of his speakers. I sent him to Hempopotamus over your neck of the woods over in the US. Yeah, great speaker brand. They've got all the kits and stuff. And
that might have been what that hemp cone company became. I'd have to look at it because this was like 20 years ago when I first became aware of it. So, and I know that brands change. Yeah, I know that brands change and companies split up or technologies, you know, get sold off. Who knows? Yeah. But I remember like they were the first hemp cone speaker company, whoever it was, and I forgot what they called themselves. Some hip sounding name, and Carlos Santana was endorsing them, and somebody brought a cabinet with those speakers in it, and it definitely had a difference to them. I mean, you could tell. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hemp is just such a superior paper material anyway. It's more durable.
Yeah,
you can get it.
Well, we
stronger.
We all know the conspiracy theory, which is quite viable.
Conspiracy facts. I mean, I've got the Library of Congress documents that prove it. Like it's all there for you to see.
Well, it makes sense. If I had a paper business, I would do that too.
It was a chemical business. It wasn't even a paper business.
There you go.
You know, the future bulk of revenue for your chemical company depended on the chemical process for paper being, you know, adopted. And the only thing that stood in the way was like non-chemically made hemp paper, which was superior. So thanks, DuPont, motherfuckers.
Did you make some good guitar paints though?
Fuck them anyway.
Love it. I speaking of bad speakers, I actually built a Filmo Sound amp, like a Dumble Tweed Deluxe Filmo Sound amp for the guys at that pedal show. And inside it, I put a little note saying, "Don't use this speaker," because it was the original. And I'm trying to think. I think it might be Jensen or someone that makes the original speakers for Bell and Howell. It's someone in the US. Anyway.
Well, they used several different companies, I think, and you can figure out which one it is by the codes. I used to have a chart of all the different manufacturer codes, and like, you know, because a lot of
ChatGPT. That'll tell you.
That's what it is. It's like I lost all that stuff because I got dependent on this device. You know?
Yeah.
Well, if I ever lose this thing, I'm screwed.
I put like a note in there saying don't use the speaker because it was like the cone. Well, not the cone, the coil. Sorry, it was just stiff. I mean, like it was basically solid. The amp was from 1950. You know what I mean? It should never have been turned on. But they so they put it on a live show, not a live show, on a show. While they turn it on, it's making all these pops and cracks and stuff. And I was like, that thing's going to explode.
It's going to go up
so
in flame.
If they do use the external speaker jack and run it into something like a normal speaker or whatever, it would have sounded pretty good, but it sounded terrible in my opinion.
Speaker. That was
it was just, mate, that speaker was like, I'm surprised it didn't try and take off.
I've seen some incredibly funny speaker failures before, like where people are running active circuits into like bass amp and like then running it through a speaker cabinet that just could not handle the amount of air that was moving. And I've seen like cones go flying out of the front, things that didn't have grills on them. A lot of bass players don't have grills on their cabinets, and just like it's really funny when it's a metal cone.
Or it come out like a bullet.
Oh, I mean, it's just like a little frisbee looking thing, like UFO.
Oh, right. That is the hour mark. Instagram Live has just turned off, so we're there now. And I have a feeling that we're probably only going to have one or two videos here for the giveaway. Let's see.
And let me read through the comments real quick here. Got some comments about the speakers. A fan of creambacks and greenbacks.
Oh, mate, love a good greenback.
Let's see. Daniel Mincher says that my Jensen Alnico and my handmade amp I built on the course sounds amazing in the amp. Yeah, I like the Jensen Alnicos.
Yeah. Well,
I really like them in a
P12R, is it? Or you mean like a smaller one?
Yeah, I mean, I like using an 8-inch Alnico in the Fender Champ circuit.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen an 8-inch JBL on eBay. So tempted to buy it for just for like a small amp or whatever. But anyway, let's play this bad boy and I
deserve it because I can always check your ass, and secondly, she agrees. Look at her little face. You don't want to upset the dog. Look at her poor little face. I deserve it because I can always check your ass, and secondly, she agrees.
Well, I think he's won by default because he's the only one that sent one in. So
you don't have to go to to like your local MMA amateur night and like fight it out. It's all good.
Mate. I'm too pretty to fight, mate. Look at Tom Aspinall's ears. That's not me. And we all know that Scousers can't get knocked out, so I don't need to worry about that.
But Dan, you can sure take a beating in the process.
Yeah, mate. Story of my childhood. Honestly, big mouth and not much to back it up. I got beat up a lot, and it didn't stop me mouthing off. Dan, I'll have your pedal with me at Brighton Guitar Show, ready for you to collect. We'll do some sort of video of them playing it as well for the shorts and stuff. If anyone's interested in that, why not?
Get the audio and the video clip.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. So well done, Dan, for winning that one. I feel like everyone bowed out and let him win that because he really wanted it.
Well, he said 100%, like I'll buy it. Like he just like 3 comments in a row. I was like, I know who's going to jump in first.
Let's face it, you can't beat that, can you?
No, like I was like, that's dedication right there.
Yeah.
You wanted that.
The man himself, Hubcap John, says the pedal goes to the dog, and it really does. Happy with that.
So also noticed that Marco, our previous guest, he's getting his live streams up and going, and he's going to be able to have multiple people on. He said he's finally figured it out, so I'll probably be joining him for some electric mayhem and like just all around discussing of topics. So we'll probably be doing that like earlier in the day on the days he's available, because I think he's in bed by 10 o'clock most of the time, and he's an hour ahead of you. So
yeah, he's an interesting guy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, loads of knowledge, loads of experience.
Fantastic hair, like really annoyingly good hair.
I know. It was just like
as a guy who used to straighten his hair when I was younger, it offends me that he has just instantly good hair.
I could never have hair like that because I've got too much curl in mine. Like,
same mate.
I used to have like women like just be jealous as all get out because my hair was so curly and I didn't have to do anything to it.
So let me just say, a couple of the young lads who work for me. So I've got like, obviously I'm in charge of the, it's sort of like the lead man level, so corporal level. And they're all about 20 years old, mate, 20 to 25. And they're all getting perms. Get on that. So my hair's in fashion now. I don't have to walk around with a cap on. Speaking of caps, by the way, what do we think of my new branded caps?
Sweet.
These are available. Too. Oh yeah, mate. I went for the old G-style print, G-style font. I'm a fan. I've got t-shirts coming as well.
Awesome.
I don't know. Normally I have a big Hello Sailor, like, look at me, the brand's here type thing. But
that reminds me, one of the other things that I've just discovered recently is that there is an enclosure manufacturer just like 30 minutes away from me, where I'm currently located here in North Carolina. Yeah. They're like doing all the different kinds of like, whatever you want to spec and powder coating, graphics and everything. So I might be able to source some of that locally, even like that would be even better. If I can pull a lot of these parts together.
What are the enclosures like? Are they like weird shapes and anything?
That's what I got to find out. I mean, I want to go and see, like, they started making them for their own designs and then started offering up their own services. The fact that they had this in-house shop I forgot what the name of the pedal company is. They're based out of Lenore, North Carolina, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to like get in touch with the person who let me know about it. Like he said that they had a full service like enclosure.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
especially if maybe you could get something yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it makes sense in that area because I don't know if you know or not, but that area of this country was the hub for furniture manufacturing forever. Like a lot of the best furniture in the world was being made and handmade in Lenore, Hickory, these surrounding areas. A lot of old world craftsmen like had settled here. And so there's a lot of machine shop equipment, because you had to maintain all the industrial machinery. So there's a lot of this stuff that people were able to pick up for pennies on the dollar. These guys might have found a die forming machine and you can just make the die. And I mean, it sounded like they had like, die formed pedal enclosures available that you could have powder coated and graphic any way you wanted. So
really?
I'm psyched. If it was what the person described to me, then it, was like, heck yeah.
I'm interested to see how you get on there, mate.
Yeah. I just need to hear back from the person. I gave him my contact information. Hopefully it's not one of those things that was just somebody talking out of their anal sphincter to, sound cool when we were in a music store. I've had that happen many times.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of enclosures, just while we're in the chat, what enclosure should I do for my Rory Gallagher pedal that is inbound or that I've just thought of? Is it going to be, you've got a choice of sloped enclosure, regular square BB, whatever size enclosure it is, regular one like a MXR Phase 100, or one of the sloped enclosures I do. I don't know if it'll fit on a sloped enclosure.
What's going to look best in the burst is what's going to be the thing.
Yeah, I was leaning towards the plum.
Yeah, I think that would show the burst. It's nice and big. And you've got that, nice area for transition into the center where the logo can show up nice. And
yeah, I'm thinking about it. Well, anyway, it's up to the interwebs.
Yeah, the burst barely shows up on that box that I did. It's a taller Hammond box. It's still not ideal for what I would do if I'm going to redo it. And if I'm going to redo it, I'm going to lacquer it. I'll tell you that. It's not going to repowder coat.
Fair one.
Unless somebody else has figured out how to do it for me.
Hubcap John's hit the nail on the head here. With everything that's going on in the world today, and the suing of people. I mean, we all know Behringer are getting sued, aren't they? It's got to be.
I think it was the suit's got to be about trade dress. That was just too much of a direct.
Maybe they copied it exactly. It's not even like
you can't sue over the circuit being copied, but the trade dress, that was just come on.
Funnily enough, speaking of them, I've got their Brassmaster and their Octavia to mod for videos as well. That's definitely happening. I need to get in there quick before they all get stung with more lawsuits and I can't actually do it. So,
and two, like, I think what line they cross is, he still builds those kind of pedals. He might want to re-release that at some point. In that type of enclosure. Who knows? I mean, he's still active. If it's a company that's defunct, they don't exist in the market anymore. You can reproduce their enclosure all you want, I guess, as long as it's not copywritten. But you got an active builder that you're taking, even though it's not something they're actively building now.
Can you copyright a shape?
Well, yeah.
I thought that was the thing about the fuzz face. You can't copyright a circle, so they're knackers.
Well, I guess you can as far as headstocks go on guitars.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So I don't know. That's the only thing you can copyright. That's the only thing you can copyright on a guitar, isn't it?
You'll know the answer to this, John. I did ask it in the video for this, but where do I stand about putting Fender on a headstock?
Where do you stand?
Yeah, legally. I mean, it's my guitar, but
it's your guitar. Yeah, as long as you are not selling it as.
Well, more importantly, does it matter that it's Fender licensed?
I think that gives you a little bit. That gives you a little bit of leeway. They used to be a lot more forgiving of it because you could buy the decals from Fender, and you could buy an officially licensed Fender neck and make your own Fender neck and put a Fender decal on it.
Well, I thought the idea was that Leo wanted you to be able to take the neck off and throw it away, and they want you to have the decal, so then you're promoting their brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is one of those things where I think you'd get in trouble if you were trying to say it was an original Fender product. You would have to, it's how some of the people are getting away with selling the Gibsons here in the U.S., even though they're fake Chinese Gibsons. They're marketing it. This is a fake Chinese Gibson. This is not a real Gibson. And they're not trying to market it as a real Gibson. So if you sold it, you would say, this is my home built Telecaster, and you're in the clear. But you can't say that it's a real Fender. It's where you're.
I'm going to put Hello Sailor on the back of it, and like a little stamp or something, or maybe sign about. I'll do something to make it mark it out. But I didn't know where it stood legally. That's why I went for the Fender license neck. That and have you ever heard of American Aging Company? No, American Aging and Supply Co. I think is the brand. They buy these all parts necks and then spray them up and age them.
No, it's a new startup, pretty much.
Is it?
I guess, I've never heard of them.
Mate,
new to me.
Their necks are nice. Like the fretboard edges. I mean, I know it's easy to roll a fretboard edge, right? It is. But it just feels so good. So good. Yeah.
It's one of those things a lot of people neglect too, even like on high-end guitars. I've seen $2,000 and $3,000 guitars with fingerboards, and the edges are so sharp they'll cut you. It's like, man, you could have cornered the frets and polished them off a little bit. You didn't have to just run a file over it and call it good. Yeah,
it's mad because that makes all the difference to playability, doesn't it?
It does, to a certain extent, to comfortability of playing. I mean, if you're in the zone. If you're in the zone, you're not going to realize it until you're looking down at your fingerboard covered in blood. I mean, which has happened on more than one occasion.
I just think, why would you do that? It's that little. It doesn't take long. Mm-hmm. How do you do it, by the way? How do you actually file the edges over?
I use a file with a safe edge that I'll just go in and use my ambidexterity and go from left to right and round the corners, and then I'll use like some different techniques with sanding sponges and flap sandpaper techniques that I use that will basically round over the harsh edges but not take too much of the depth and everything away.
So I'm a heathen, and I've been using on the past guitar builds I've done like a Stanley knife blade and just using it as a scraper and making a. And I'm thinking about
it works.
Why have I been doing that? Why have I been doing that when I could just use a file? You know, that's actually made for the job.
Then like when you like get into Jedi mode, and if you're working on a rosewood fingerboard or ebony fingerboard without binding, you can do it with folded pieces of sandpaper going through progressively finer grits. Just get your technique down right.
James Cuff has just wrote in the chat, could you make a pedal with a casing from a 15mm shell and something similar? Would it be too big and awkward? Mate, I've used
I think he has.
A 4.5 inch maple cannon round, which is that big. And I've made several of them, and they are so bloody heavy. It's definitely an ornament, not a pedal. But I've made them with where it's a slice of the round and it's perspex either side, so you can see right through it. And I've also made them onto the base. The base of it is just like it's that thick, the brass.
Oh yeah, because it's reinforced. I mean,
yeah. I mean, the shell itself can fire out a gun that fires the length of the horizon, which is like I don't know how many nautical.
How many miles? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's insane. The range of this.
I want to say 20, but I might be wrong there. So Craze Fandango says a screwdriver works well too. I've never used a screwdriver for that, but interesting. Maybe
it's basically you're basically like burnishing.
Okay.
I mean, I got really nerdy when I was doing lutherie at first, and I'd like jewel perfect, like rounded off the ends of the frets and like made everything shine. And I found out nobody really cared or paid that much attention. As long as it felt right. I mean, I was putting hours and hours of work into it, and I was using burnishing tools, to make sure there were no scratches of any kind and just nothing but smooth metal polish. And I was like, why am I doing this?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares. And if they did, they'd pay me a lot more.
I'm just interested to see what you do with all that wood, like what guitar you build. I'm on a right guitar building kick at the minute. I'm so excited about this telly.
I'm starting to get back into wanting to, because I've like started seeing what I've got left in materials, and it's like I've got a neck or two that I can make this out of. And then at the store that I'm working out of, he gets necks in all the time, so I can actually get a real Fender neck from like a Mexican Telecaster or a Japanese Fender neck, or maybe put although I do like getting the raw all parts necks and then just like making it my own, like starting out with as big of a chunky profile as they've got on the back and shaping it to my preferred profile that I've ended up with. They're
so good, aren't they? They're just made so
well. They're made in Japan. They're made by Fender Japan is what they told me.
They?
Yeah, I'm an all parts wholesaler. Like I have a wholesale account with them, and they, when I was discussing it with them, I was like, these things are great, and like he says, don't tell anybody, but they're Fender Japan.
But that makes sense, mate. Japan at one point was like better than the US ones, weren't it?
Still are. They don't sell them over here. You have to like go get somebody to go to Japan and get a Fender Japan guitar and bring it back over here. They won't sell them in the States. I'm still spewing. I'm still sick to my core that I went to Japan and I couldn't get off the military base because of COVID in 2021. Man. The military base was amazing, and the Chief's Mess, let me tell you, the Chief's Mess bar was unbelievable. Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But drinking, what were they drinking? Some sort of shot, but it comes in a bottle with a rattlesnake inside. So I don't know what it is, but you're only allowed to. Yeah. It begins with a B.
That. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it before.
So you're only allowed 2 shots of it, and all the lads are like, no, give me one more. Oh, madness. Yeah, I love it. But my kid, my 6-year-old, my daughter just wants to go to Japan. I don't know what it is on her iPad that's made her want to go, but she's obsessed with the place.
I mean, it's got a lot of history and culture, and
but
just
in the UK, we go on holiday to places like Spain or Portugal. We don't go to Japan. It's not like a holiday.
It's got such a mystique about it, because you have the absolute highest of high tech stuff, and then you still have these like traditional old temples, and these areas that are like off limits and other places that are like super developed. And it's a pretty interesting place. My friend James, that was in the Air Force, that spent time stationed there, he said like that was the hardest place for him to leave, and the one place he would probably move back to. And then he was on Okinawa for a while too. He loved it.
So I was meant to do a 2-week stand down in Okinawa, but we ended up in Guam instead. I forget what happened. We were tracking a submarine, plans changed, whatever, and we ended up in Guam. But I was quite looking forward to Okinawa. Yeah. Where did we go? We went to Sasebo. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. I really need to go out to Japan, definitely. So Dave Barry says J-pop and anime.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the cartoony stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, that hooked me as a kid, like watching Speed Racer, Star Blazers.
I don't think it quite come over here. You know, for me as a kid, it was all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, I mean, that's the reason, like, those kind of things existed. Like the Japanese cartoon stuff, like they definitely set the bar high.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Dan Mincher says Japanese stuff's amazing.
It is,
including the 79 Greco.
I had an 80s Greco. It was one of the lawsuit ones, a set neck, and it killed every Les Paul we put it up against with stock pickups. It didn't even have like upgraded pickups. Just
some of them early Grecos have Brazilian rosewood and stuff. I think it's the EC1000. Is it EC1000 and earlier? I know Chris Buck's got one that he's had refinished by the Tone. What are they called? Tone Bros. Guys out in Wales who do Guitarist Mag or Total Guitar.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Tone Twins. Tone Twins.
There you go.
Mate, amazing. He's just had did you see the Epiphone Flying V's I'd done? So he bought an Epiphone Flying V. They've stripped it down, put all the right sanding in it, changed the parts and stuff, and refinished it. Amazing, mate. I would love to buy it. I'm still gutted that I sold that Flying V that I made, the Pelham Blue one. Absolutely gutted. Precision guitar kits, if anyone's seen them, are unbelievable. The fretwork's amazing. Yeah. If anyone's thinking about doing a guitar
kit,
I'll definitely. Yeah, precision guitar kits. They're out in Canada. It's getting a bit expensive for us over here now. John, Hubcap John says, I love Japan. Would love to go. And he sold a few pedals out there as well. I can never get them out there, mate. No one in Japan cares about my pedals, which is a bit sad. But there you go.
I just haven't discovered you yet.
Fair
once they discover you and you become a fad, you won't be able to make enough, Joe.
I'll have them in vending machines over there like everything else.
Put Arnold Schwarzenegger on a pedal and they'll sell. In Japan,
fair one. They love them, don't they?
They do. Or David Hasselhoff in Germany. If you want to sell your pedals in Germany, put the Hoff on.
I sell quite a few in Germany, but since the new EU rules, I can't post them.
Can't post them anymore.
John Pardo says Pokemon, and also Dave Barry has got an 80s Fox from Japan.
Oh yeah,
fantastic, love it.
Yeah,
Foxes are so good. James Cuff says all of our computer games were Japanese too, mate. Yeah, they were. I agree. But let me be clear, right? When I was a kid, my mum was brutal. So my little brother got a computer for Christmas and I got the TV. So we'd have to share. But we were always fucking fighting. So neither of us got to play it. So he wouldn't let me use his computer after a fight. I wouldn't let him use my telly. He had this I want to say rare condition. It's not that rare. Where his bones were a bit brittle. And I used to break his ankle all the time. So we'd argue. I'd just kick him in the ankle, broken ankle, hospital.
Oh, man.
That's
funny. Kid. It's like what's the L something 5 gene. And I've got the even rarer version of it. That's the unbreakable gene.
Unbreakable gene.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
My bones don't break. I've never broken a bone in my life. I've hit a tree doing 70 miles an hour, walked away without a scratch. The dentist would wear out diamond drill bits on my jawbone when he was trying to do work on it. And he said I had the densest bone he'd ever seen. And I think it's more common than people realize, probably. And you don't find out until you've actually been hit with something that hard.
Mine's not that. I'm just really bored. So I haven't done anything.
You haven't done anything crazy. You haven't jumped off the top of your parent's house like I did. Fallen 30 feet into a railroad cut and bounced. off of gravel.
Terrified heights, mate. Give me foreign enemies trying to blow up chips I'm on, no problem. Every day of the week. Heights, no chance.
Yeah, but see, the drawback to that that I have is like horrible teeth. Like my dental health, like your teeth try to like, you know, just revolt on you, and then your hair loss too. Like it's one of the things. The receding hairline starts kicking in.
I'm terrified of that. I've always got a cap on my videos, but at home, my kid's got this thing where she can't handle change, and she likes my curly hair. So if my hair started going, whew, there'd be nothing left for me. Craze Fandango says perhaps they are fussy about the foot switch placement. That's the Japanese. The Japanese don't like their foot switches off center. That's why I can't tell any. Fantastic, I'll take that. It's them.
They like their foot switches under like another switch. They want to switch under a switch.
What I'm hearing is it's them, not me. Oh man. Right. Well, on that note, I think this is just about the end of the Pedal Dive podcast for this week.
Yes, sir. For this week,
we haven't got to learn anything about half a guitar. Hopefully
I know we're gonna have to reschedule and get Ali on.
Do you know what? It's ruined my thumbnail. Maybe I'll change the thumbnail on this one to something like an off-center foot switch. We'll see, and then we can reuse my thumbnail for this episode.
Well,
thank you everyone for tuning in.
Ruins my community post that I made announcing death by audio.
Oh, I love it.
Oh well.
We definitely need to get them on. Anyway.
Yes, we do.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Well done, Dan, for winning your pedal. I shall see you in the Brighton Guitar Show. And anyone who comes to Brighton, come and say hello. I've been Hello Sailor Joe.
I've been John Mulholland, Space Wolf.
See you later.
Cheers, guys.